Hey guys, ooh, hi hair. You want to join too? Let's calm it down a little bit. It's fine. Christina Marie here, and today I want to talk about a book. You can tell from the title, it's not a surprise. I'm gonna be real open and transparent with you guys right now. I didn't much prepare for this video. I posted a random little Instagram post. Is that redundant? Posted an Instagram post a while ago. This was back on February 1st, so over a month ago, about this book, because that's when I read it. It's called Our Own Private Universe by Talley. And my initial thoughts from reading this book were more negative than positive. And so what I said, and I'm just going to read it. You can definitely go to my Instagram and see it if you can't see it here because, you know, lighting. It says, "This one fell incredibly short for me in more ways than one. From the inconsistent storytelling to the representation, cultural and sexual, that, if I'm to be honest, left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I think I would have been fine had the subpar representation been acknowledged and rectified in the text, but nope, it just sits there in its pit of wrong." Okay, so because I'm going purely based off of emotion and just what I know. I have the press release here that's going to tell, I'm going to read from it so you guys can know what the book is about. Actually, I'm just going to read from the back of the damn book. So it says, 15-year-old Aki Simon has a theory, and it's mostly about sex. No, it isn't that kind of theory. Aki already knows she's bisexual, even if, until now, it's mostly been in the hypothetical sense. Aki has dated only guys so far, and her best friend Lori is the only person who knows she likes girls too. Actually, Aki's theory is that or it could be Aki, I don't know. Aki's theory is that she's got only one shot at living an interesting life, and that means she's got to stop sitting around and thinking so much. It's time for her to actually do something, or at least try. So when Aki and Lori set off on a church youth group trip to a small Mexican town for the summer, and Aki meets Krista, slightly older, far more experienced, it seems her theory is prime for the testing. But it's not going to be easy. For one thing, how do two girls have sex anyway? And more important, how can you tell if you're in love? It's going to be a summer of testing theories, and the result may just be love. Okay. So the reason why I even read this, because that synopsis turned me off, because I just felt like there were a lot of things in the synopsis that told me I was going to have a problem with this book. I don't really feel like the way bisexuality was portrayed, it felt like a game. That's part of the reason why I was kind of like, this just feels like a little, it feels like, I don't know, it didn't feel authentic to me. And I pretty much think that's my whole issue with the book. Not to mention that Aki is black. She is a black girl, and that is explained to me blatantly in the very beginning of the book. And the way that it's explained to me left me wondering, why did I need to know she was black? Like, that had nothing to do with anything. There was one, and the reason why, oh, here it is. There was a sentence in here that made it seem like her being black was going to play a bigger role in this book, even though it's mainly focused on her sexuality, which is fine. But there was a part in this book, and I'm trying to see if I could find it. Oh, here it is. It's this paragraph where it's just talking about, I took an inventory of the courtyard while Rodney and Krista talked about their friends from school. I counted only 5 black people, including Rodney, my brother Drew, and me. And then it goes on to say there were plenty of black people in our part of Maryland, but most of them went to all black churches. Only a handful of black and Hispanic families went to our church, and I figured the same was probably true at Krista and Rodney's too. It just started, why did I need to know this? Like, was race gonna play a part in this? I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to writing about race and sexuality in a book, but I'm going to hang on to the race aspect for a second. I just felt like I needed more, like, or not at all. Like, why were we talking about Hispanic and black churches? Why were we talking about her being one of only 5 black people when throughout the book there's no other mention of it? I kid you not. Like, I pretty much forget that Aki is black until they mention like her hair or something. So I just didn't connect to her black girl to black girl. Like, there was no connection there at all. Like, Aki could have been white and it would have been just like the same story. So that, I guess, is one of my issues. I just didn't feel like, and I'm just tossing this book back and forth, I just didn't feel like there was a point to us really knowing that she was one of 5 black people at her retreat or at the church or whatever it is. Okay, moving on to the bisexual part. Now, I'm very private about my own sexuality. It ain't your business. But I will say that when I'm always intrigued with books that explore sexual representation, because I'm always interested to see how it's done. I'm always interested to see how authentic it actually is. And not because I can personally identify with being a bisexual person. Like I said, ain't your business. But I just felt like this was almost like a game. This was let me see how bisexual I can be. You know, I don't know. I didn't feel like this was an authentic portrayal. And when I say that, it means to say they use a couple of tropes in this book, or I don't know why I keep saying they. I guess I say they because I'm thinking about the editors too. There are a couple of tropes in here that I just didn't really like. Like the part where one of the girls is already dating somebody when she wants to explore a relationship with a girl. Like, I'm like, do we have to do that? Like, do we have to do that? Can't bisexual girls just be bisexual girls? Like, can they? I don't know. I find it really interesting that there's always a man that is the obstacle or part of the obstacle of 2 women coming together. I didn't feel like that part was necessary. And then there are times when there's a religious aspect to this that I find is intriguing, for the simple fact that it's very prevalent. Like, that religion can play a role in how bisexual experiences pan out. I totally understand that. But I wish I could find the part in here. There were just some sections in here that I was like, a little much, right? Like, or what's the point? Or why are you making this a bigger deal than it is? And I just felt like there was drama in places that I was like, it ain't that deep, yo. It's I swear it's not. The fact that you have characters in here that try and use someone's bisexuality against them, when I finished this book, I felt empty. Like, I didn't feel like I had an experience. I didn't feel like this was a book that would connect with many people. And this is just me. I'm speaking from my perspective, from my experience. You know, you may have read this book and you might have loved it, but I really personally feel, and as I said, there were issues brought up within this book that were misrepresented and could have and should have been addressed within the text. Like, I really didn't see a point to, again, shaping our understanding of her being the only one of 5 or 6 or however many black people at the retreat. What was the point in shaping that information? Because you lose it halfway through the story. Like, you don't even remember that, you know, a couple pages after reading it. The whole bisexual girl's already dating somebody, yada yada yada, like and the thing is, there's something extra to that I can't tell you without spoiling it. that really rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it really rubbed me the wrong way, because there was just no reason for it to have gone that far. Like, there were lies and untruths between these two from the beginning that, quite frankly, almost perpetuated a stereotype, or perpetuated a misunderstanding of bisexual people, that there's some kind of rift, or there's some kind of natural misunderstanding, or it just didn't feel like they had the space to naturally be themselves within this book. It felt like the book was fighting against itself to really even be authentic. I just felt like there was no point to this. And then you throw in a little side story with the main character's best friend, Lori. She was having her own little thing over on the side that, quite frankly, I was like, girl, what are you even, why did you, she did something in this book that I was just kind of like, was all that really necessary? Like, all these emotions and all this anger and excitement and sadness and depression, was that all necessary for you to do what you just did, only to have it amount to nothing? So my issue with this book is the story itself, but it's also the key elements that I was looking forward to. The racial aspect and the bisexual aspect didn't meet the expectations that I needed them to meet in order for me to enjoy the book. So I didn't enjoy this book as much as I wanted to. And I really wanted to. It's not often that I come across a book that has bisexual characters, bisexual female freaking characters that want to have freaking sex in a YA book. And they want to explore their sexuality. Like, I feel like that's a really cool book to read about. All this other stuff that was surrounding it, like all this religious stuff, again, yes, in some ways, it's very relevant. All this extra best friend doing stupid shit, all of this boyfriend out of nowhere kind of thing, like, it just really clogged the story. It clouded the story. I feel like there was so much potential for the story to be amazing just because the two characters were bisexual girls who were wanting to explore their sexuality at a Christian youth camp in Mexico. That itself is very intriguing, but I just feel like all this extra stuff just took it away. If it was going to be about bisexuality, that's what it should have been about. There was no reason for you to set up the whole racial aspect to let us know what color they were, and only to have us forget and not care by the end of the book because it meant nothing at all in the first place. I'm pretty sure I had a lot more to say, but it's been over a month since I read this book, and I don't remember half the things that I read about it. I just remember feeling the way that I felt after I was done, and I didn't like how I felt after this book. I don't even know. Oh, here it is. I don't even know where the press release is. There was a section or something in here that gave me like praise for her. And I know that a previous book she wrote had some issues too. It's not like the most problematic book on the face of this planet. Matter of fact, I don't even think it's really a problematic book. I personally find issue with this book because of the reasons that I stated. I'm going to pull my Instagram again because I don't remember. I said the storytelling was inconsistent, which I still agree with. I said that the representation, cultural and sexual, left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not saying that it was wrong or misrepresented. I personally just thought it didn't do itself justice. And then I said I feel like the representation would have been better, or I would have understood the misrepresentation, or I would have understood the stereotypicalness of it had it been acknowledged and maybe rectified within the freaking text. And it wasn't. Those are my problems with the book. So I don't rate my books anymore. You can really kind of take it or leave it, or take it with a grain of salt, or do what you will with this review. I read it. Did I hate it? No. Did I love it? No. I'm tired of seeing books fall in that same cycle of, oh, we're going to be different because we're going to talk about, you know, sexual representation, or we're going to have, you know, LGBT, you know, Q plus representation. But then it's something that I've seen before, or it's something that, quite frankly, I'm just kind of like, what? Like, I feel like you could have done so much more with how this was done. And then I've seen people say that this is a book that needs to be read. It's so important and yada, yada, yada. Honestly, guys, I think there are better books that do bisexual representation justice. I don't think this is one that you have to read. I really don't. I think this is forgettable. I really, really do. I do. I don't think... if somebody said, hey, recommend a book with bisexual representation in it, this wouldn't even be on my radar. It just really wouldn't. And that's how I feel. Sorry, Robin Talley. I don't know, guys. I expected something totally different and got something that I didn't want. So those are my thoughts on this book. Yeah. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you read the book, if you want to read this book. Sorry, I kind of went all over the place and threw the book around, but you know, it's my channel. But yeah, thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Comment down below with your thoughts on the book if you've read it, and make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos from moi. Thanks so much for watching. I am going to go read something. All right, bye guys.